Increasing? What does that mean?
Going up.
Going up, okay. Be a little more specific.
Over the x-axis.
So that would be where it's positive. Yeah?
A positive slope.
Oh, yeah, baby. Positive slope. It's positive slope. And that's a big thing to see. So you have a positive slope. It's increasing. So let me ask you this before we start answering more questions. Is there one spot, two spots, a whole bunch more spots? Where is this increasing? Two different spots? So let me ask you this. Is it increasing from here to here?
No.
What about from here to here?
Yeah.
Yes? So that's increasing. We'll make that green. What about here?
No.
What about here?
No.
Here?
Yes.
What about here?
No.
No. Okay. So it's increasing in two different spots. Agree? Again, I love that you told me that it's increasing. I love that you told me that it has a positive slope. Okay? And we're just running through this. Everyone feel good about that so far? Uh-oh, you guys are going to see your pictures up. Ah! Oh. Okay, so they're gone now. All right, so describe to me, by using the x-axis, where it's increasing. It's two different spots. Go ahead.
Is it from 10 to 20 and then 40 to 25?
So from 10 to 20.
Oh, wait. 40 to 50? Wait.
So 10 to 20. So this is 10, this is 20, right?
Yeah.
I think I agree with that.
Or wait, would it be X and then the Y? So then would it be 10?
So you're only using the x to describe where the graph would be increasing.
Okay.
So I totally agree. Right here, you just told me from 10 to 20, the graph is increasing, meaning it's going to have a positive slope. Where is the other one? Yeah.
40 to 50.
To 40 to 50. Let's see. From here. So from here to here. Yeah, that looks like it. So from 40 to 50, increasing. I like it.
This is X.
Yeah, so you're using the x to describe what the slope's doing. So what it really means in further math classes, so in a year or two from here, you will be asked, hey, what's our graph doing? And you'll know that if I plugged 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, or 18, or 19 in, or whatever decimal or fraction is within that range, I would get, if I were to find the slope between the 2 points that were both x and y, it would be a positive slope. The same thing with the other one. All right, so increasing is green. Is there anybody who has a question on how increasing or decreasing or increasing works? Is it okay if we change color on it? Does everyone feel comfortable with that? All right, what is the next part? Ask for decreasing then?
Yeah.
Okay, so does everyone feel comfortable that I might not know exactly where it's decreasing, but I can tell you that it is not decreasing where it's green. Agreed?
Agreed.
All right. So help me out. Is it decreasing right here?
No.
What about here?
No.
Here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. What about here?
No.
No? So it's only decreasing in one spot. So tell me what it's doing in the x direction to make it decreasing. What from where to where makes it decreasing? Go ahead.
30 to 40.
30 to 40, agree?
Yeah.
I like that. 30 to 40, right here. This is definitely a decreasing region. So right down here, using the x to describe what the graph would be doing later. I like that. What else does it say on this graph? So we have domain, range. We got both of those. Increase, decreasing. Oh. Function at 50. What does this mean? Function at 50. That's f at x. F at x. So that means, am I going to plug an x value? Am I looking at the x value on the x-axis or on the y-axis? X, okay. So at 50, is that about right here? Is that about, and your paper might be a little different.
Yeah.
Where does it go in the y direction? Where is this right here? What is that?
25.
25. Ooh, sweet. Okay. So the function at 50 or the function of 50 would result in a 25. So I have an input of 20, or excuse me, an input of 50. Remember, input we said is inside the parentheses, and an output of 25. And you know it's an output because it's outside the parentheses. This also, some people might look at this, and this would yield me a point to look like this. So this is an actual point. These others are just, they're not points, they're just telling us a range between, or some sort of increment of units between those. All right. What's the last one say?
Find
Find
x
x
when
when
f(x) equals 15.
F at x is equal to what?
15.
Okay. So the x on that problem is an input. An input goes with x or y. X, okay. So what is the 15 on this one? Input or output? Output. It's outside the parentheses, agreed? It's an output, goes with x or y. Y. Goes with y. Okay, so I'm going to go on my graph to 15, right here. And we're going to kind of go over, and we're going to say, hey, well, what is it doing right down here? What do you think? 30. 45. It's like 45. I think that'd be a good one. So this is going to tell us that the function at 45 will result in 15. Okay? So we used what was happening in the y direction to tell us what the x direction was doing. So we use the output to figure out the input. So here's just cheap knowledge, doesn't cost you anything. Because we are talking about data inside of our thing, it's called interpolation. If we are outside of it making predictions, it's called extrapolation. But I don't know if you need that or not. I think you sometimes do this in science.
Yeah.
Okay. And they label it different on the x and the y-axis. And most of the time in science, you're only dealing with that far right upper quadrant, which is called quadrant 1. And that's where everything's positive. And there might be times, I would say in some of the science classes you might take, you might see this type of graph on how long does it take to boil water or boil a substance. And you're checking different periods of time, and you're able to do some information like that. So these are just baby steps that we're taking that'll allow us to think at a higher level at some further point in class, right? What does the bottom two things say on that on our graph or on that sheet?
Find the slope between 2.8 and negative 2.10.
Okay, so it's asking to find the slope. Are those problems down there related to our graph, or is that separate problems? Separate problems. All right. So slope. All right, slope equation. You've seen it in science like this probably.
Nope.
That just means to change y or change an x. But in here, we're going to do it as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I will give you this formula on the quiz tomorrow, okay? But you have to remember how to use it. What were our 2 points? Let's see, what was the first one? 2 comma what?
8.
And the second one?
Negative 2.10.
All right, so before we start this, we got to keep in mind we can have a positive slope, we can have a negative slope. We can have a slope that's 0, which is what kind of line? I know it's straight, but what kind of straight line?
Oh, no, negative.
What kind of line is this?
Horizontal.
Horizontal. Okay? And that means I get a 0 on the top of the fraction, the numerator. The bottom part of the fraction, the denominator, or underneath the under part of the fraction, under goes with undefined, goes with what kind of line? I heard it. Vertical. Because U and V are right next to each other, right? All right, so let's take a look at this. I think it'd be important that you label it first. And I know some people are like, do I have to? You know, if you can get the answer right without labeling it, I think you're fine. But also, a lot of people need to, there's things going on. So you might want to. Okay, so I have y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, 10 minus 8 is 2. What's this on the bottom? Negative 4.
Oh, 4, yeah.
So I can reduce that. 2 over 4. So I'm going to change it to this. Uh-oh. How did I move the negative from the middle, or the bottom up to the middle? Well, this is the same thing as saying this, right? Which is also the same thing as saying this. Which answer is correct? Yeah, you pick. I can figure out what you're doing. Uh-oh. Engine started. Are you that kid on the road trip? You're sitting in the back and on board's here. Ooh, better go flat. Run that. All right, what's the other problem?
Negative 5, 3, and 2, 3.
And 2, 3? Just like that?
Yep.
All right, again, I'm going to label it x1, y1, x2, y2. Let's see, 3 minus 3, and then 2 minus negative 5. So on top, I'm going to get a 0, and on bottom, 2 minus 5, that's going to give me 7, I believe. 0. We have a slope of 0. Okay, think about this real quick. If my slope is 0, what type of straight line do you have? Yeah.
Y.
Y what?
It's on the Y. It's going up and down. So that's X.
Yeah. So this is vertical. That'd be undefined. This is 0, so it's horizontal. So you're right that it's going to go through the y-axis. This would actually go through the y-axis at 3. You'd count 1, 2, 3, and be a horizontal line through 3. Is there anything that's on that you're curious about, or you're not sure about, or you need extra guidance on? Yeah.
Actually, never mind.
You feel good?
Yeah.
Cool. So what I want to do for the remainder of the period is I would like us to, let's see. I would like us to turn to page 67, 68, and 69 in our notebook. And I just want to kind of just see if you have any questions or concerns over any of those problems. But let's take a look at page 67 first. You can find the page number at the lower right-hand corner. If you forgot yours, just scoot over with somebody who might have theirs so you can take a look. But let's look at page 67 first. And you talk to me about what types of problems you might want to review a little bit on page 67. And again, if you didn't bring yours, yeah. Number 3. So far I've heard number 3 from page 67. Is that okay? Is there any other problems from page 67 you would like to take a look at? Yeah.
You gave me pencil though.
5? Okay. So far from page 67, I heard 3 and 5 are requested. What else might be requested?
I swear.
6? You got it out?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Which one? 67.
Oh, just
I didn't
look
take
over
your
if somebody
phone.
has
I
it.
didn't take your-
We did take my Was this all the homework? We did it.
Well, no, we haven't done it yet.
Oh.
But we're just going to kind of look at it. So far we have 3 and 5 on page 67 we'd like to look at. Is there anything else on page 67 you want to take a look at? All right, so let's pick number 3 and take a look at it. Problem number 3 says y equals negative x. This is a good one. A lot of students get confused on this one. And you're going to see how simple it is to do, but it's one that's easy to get confused on because you're missing a whole bunch of stuff. So let's talk about this. Slope and y-intercept. Let's handle those first. What's my slope of this problem? What number's in front of x? Negative 1. Agree? So what's my slope got to be? What does my slope have to be? Negative 1. Now notice, a lot of students will tell me, oh, it's negative 1x is my slope, or negative x is my slope. X is not your slope. It's the number that precedes the x. I have a negative 1 for a slope. Is that okay? Which means if I have some point, I'm going to go down from that point and right from that point, 1 in each direction. What's my b value? How do you know it's 0?
It's not there.
Yeah, it's not there. My y-intercept, I could have this plus 0, but there's nothing there. Nothing mathematically has got to be 0. All right, so do we have enough information to plot this graph?
Yeah.
All right, where will it cross the y-axis? 0, 0, right? So what's that right there where they intersect? What's that called?
Origin.
The origin. I like it. All right. So from that point, I'm going to do what and what? My slope's negative 1.
Go down one.
So I'm going to go down 1 and
Right 1.
there you go. Do I need to keep going?
Yes.
No.
I could. Down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. Okay. So this is this nice line. Okay, let's answer this question. Is this function increasing or decreasing?
Decreasing.
Decreasing. Why is it decreasing?
Because the slope is down and it has a negative.
Slope is negative. So this is decreasing because I have a negative slope. So you didn't even have to graph this to see it was decreasing. I like it. And then number 5 was asked for as well on page 67. Is there any other questions on this one? All right, so number 5. And please know, you can write all over your homework. Ooh, 4x minus 2y. Okay, 4x minus 2y is equal to 12. Gosh. How are we going to solve where this crosses anything? I don't know. Yeah. Cover method. So remember the cover method, we're going to go 0, comma, blank, and blank, comma, 0. Agree? So, yeah, let's bring up a shape. I like that heart that we used that day. That's kind of fun. Okay. All right. So, what letter would this be, x or y?
X.
X. So, I'm going to cover my x value. So, I get negative 2y equals 12. Agree?
Yes.
So, what does
Negative 6.
negative 6? Oh, I love it. Negative 6. 0, negative 6. So, 0, negative 6 is down here. Agree? Anyone stuck on that? All right, so then we're going to, what is this value, x or y? So now I'm just going to move my heart right over here. I'm going to cover up as much as I can. So then I get 4 times x equals 12. What's that? All right. Now I know this isn't being asked on this, but what would my b value be on this problem?
-6.
Yeah, -6. All right, now let's see if we can figure this out. Didn't ask for it. Can we find the slope?
Yes.
Okay, so let's pick from right here. Slope is rise over run, so I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up 6, over 1, 2, 3. What's 6 over 3 reduced? 2. 2 over 1 or just 2. So look at that, I just found my slope. I didn't even use my slope formula. Did I? Is there any other questions on page 67? We did. So you're good with 1, 2, and 4?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's take a look at page 68. Is there anything on page 68 you'd like to take a look at? Yeah. 10? Okay. Anything else on page 68? We have time for one more if you want to do it. Yeah. 8? Okay. 10 and 8. I'll do 8 first because it comes numerically that way. Number 8, we have x minus 4y. is equal to 8. Is that right?
This is my other guy.
All right. How is this problem set up? So, what type of method would I use to graph it? Cover method, absolutely. So, let's bring up my shape again. Here's there. We'll do the star this time, though. Yeah, baby. Okay. And so, if I'm going to do the cover method, I have 0, comma, blank, and blank, comma, 0. What value is this, x or y? X. So I'm going to cover up my x. So, okay. So negative 4y equals 8. So negative 4 times what number? Negative 2? Love it. 0, negative 2. Should be about here, I think. Hey, what value did I just find right now? B. Awesome. Right there, negative 2. Right, when it crosses the y-axis? I don't have enough information yet to find the slope, but we will definitely figure out the slope here in a moment. All right, ready? Move this over. So I get x equals 8. So what's x equal to? 8. That usually stumps people. It's like x equals 8, so what's x equal to? I don't know, 12? No, x equals 8, so what's x equal to? 16. No, 4, 2, wait, no, 0. X equals 8. Oh, it's okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can't tell I've taught this class before, have you? All right, so that's there.
Sorry, I can't.
Hey, do I have enough information to find the slope without graphing it? Yeah, so hang on. Let me connect my dots best I can. That's supposed to be a straight line. Don't judge. All right, so I'm going to go from this point up 2 and over. Can I reduce that?
Yes.
What does it reduce to?
1 over 4.
Hey, would this be increasing or decreasing?
Increasing.
Increasing because what's positive?
The slope.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Gosh.
Why didn't you say, hey, well, it's 1, 2, 3, 4?
We need to like
No,
break
you
out
didn't.
like cookies or
You have
something
to
when it
like
hits.
say, hey, it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Tomorrow.
Jacob.
Tomorrow. It happens tomorrow too.
Jacob, I'm gonna fight you, Jacob.
Bad day.
Jesus, I'm gonna fight you.
No, we should just set an alarm at
No, I will win.
12:34.
So bring it
Set an
on.
alarm. Okay.
You
All right, let's go to number 10.
Gold star rating. Easy.
Number 10. 3x minus y is equal to 9. How is this one set up to use? Cover or no?
Cover.
Cover. Sweet. 0. So cover is pretty popular. And I like the star. The star's pretty good. All right. All right, so is this an x or a y value? X, so I'm going to cover my x. Okay, so negative y equals 9. So y has to equal?
9.
Careful. Negative y equals 9. So y equals?
Negative 9.
Negative 9. There you go. Like it. All right. So again, we can still continue to use our cover method. What value is this? X or y? Y. So we're going to cover that up. Okay, so 3x equals 9. So x equals?
3.
Oops. Make that bigger. Hey, what's my y-intercept? What's b? Negative 9? Don't forget the negative. And my slope I could find by just counting. Can't I not? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Up 9.
Over 3.
And right 3. So 9 over 3 reduces to 3 over 1, and which is just 3. Increasing or decreasing?
Increasing.
Increasing because the slope is?
Positive.
Let's create this. All right, the last page I want to take a look at is page 69. I have time for a couple problems on page 69. Is there anything you'd like to take a look at?
I did a problem.
I did?
No, never mind. That was 68.
Okay. Hey, how are those ones set up? Those are looking different. What do you got?
15.
15, all right. What else? 12? 12 and 15? That works. We'll do number 12 first because it comes first.
Wait, can you do 13 too?
Sure. Remind me and I'll get to the next slide. I'll hit that one as well. All right. All right. These are set up as point slope form. Agreed? Now, what did we talk about on Friday? What was one thing? We were being lazy as math people, and we should probably do it. Parentheses. Where should I put parentheses?
1 minus 1.
Right here. Okay, so now it's grouped. Now it's grouped. So if it's grouped, how can I find a point that comes out of it?
Change the sign.
Change the sign. So what's my point? -5 and
1.
+1. All agree? Anyone going to, hey, where did that just come from? Sometimes you get the kid, there's not even a -5 up there. And you're like, you're right. But it was grouped, so it came out. All right, so I can pull out that point. So -5, 1. Agree? What's my slope? -2. So a negative slope is increasing or decreasing? Decreasing, negative decreasing, right? All right, so how am I going to find a second point from the point that I've already established, -5, 1? What should I do? What should I do from this point with this slope?
Go down 2.
Go down 2, so 1, 2, and
Over 1.
right 1. Perfect. There it is. That's a definitely decreasing slope because it's negative. So point slope hands you the point, and then you use the slope to find a second point. 13, was that asked?
Yeah.
15. Okay, number 13 says y plus 7 equals 1/3 x minus 1. Okay, again, we're lazy math people, so what should we do first?
Group.
Yeah, let's group it. Put the parentheses in. I'm telling you, it's going to save you. It's going to save you in further class. As soon as you recognize this, that point slope, we were being lazy, we forgot to put parentheses in, you're just going to come out on top. What point does this establish?
+1.
+1, -7. All agree?
Yeah.
Anyone like, what? Okay, so let's graph this. +1 and -7. What's my slope? 1/3. Is it increasing or decreasing?
Increasing.
Why is it increasing? What's
It's positive.
That's going up 1.
all right? So I'm going to go up 1 and then right 3. Agree? It's an increasing function. It's an increasing linear function because
It's not how you're supposed to call it.
the slope is
Yes, it is.
It's SC.
And what was the last one we wanted to see?
15.
15. All right. So can I move off this? 15. Here we go. 15. Y minus 3. And then all right. First thing we should do?
Group it.
Group it. And this is the only one that we have to group, right? Because the one that uses the cover method, well, it's like I'm just covering. What point does this establish?
Negative.
Do what? -1 and
3.
+3. Okay. I didn't space that out real well. Apologize. Slope is what?
-3/4.
Yeah, it's -3/4. So from this point, I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, and right 4. Absent.
Okay.
Increasing or decreasing? decreasing y.
Slope's negative.
Slope's negative. All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, you have the remainder of the period, so you got like 6 minutes. Your assignment for tonight is page 67, 68, and 69. And we just did a whole bunch of them. So if you wrote them in, you have a lot less to work on. If not, you can look back at the video or the notes on Schoology. We do have a quiz tomorrow. Okay? So the quiz tomorrow, you could see this kind of stuff on there. What does like, if I had x equals -3, what does that line look like? Horizontal or vertical?
Vertical.
Vertical goes right through -3, correct? Or what if I had y equals 2, horizontal or vertical? Horizontal goes right through 2. Okay, so just be aware of that. So those are definitely things you will see. All of that is all fair game on the quiz for tomorrow. Yeah.
Are there any other homework pages we should like study for?
So definitely those pages right there.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Definitely.
Any other ones? What?
I would just say maybe if you go back through and take a look at any of those.
Like 50 through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool? Everybody happy? And I do have this recorded.